You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Isaac Howard, 20 goals? Isaac Howard, 25 goals? Isaac Howard, 30 goals? Let's get into it with the lead. We're supposed to call him Ike, everybody. We'll get into that as well. But Isaac Howard, you are an Edmonton Oiler.
Congratulations, Ike.
Like the kid from South Park.
Yeah.
I just envision his mouth moving like that. We got a trade to talk about. Thank you, Stan Bowman. We were worried we'd have nothing to talk about on the Wednesday edition of the show. But welcome in. We are live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online, sportscloset.ca. From jerseys to hats to the legendary foam finger, you'll find it all and more at the Sports Closet. They will send away your jersey to get custom stitched, which means if you want an Ike Howard jersey, you can get one. And Liam, he's wearing number
53.
The only other Oiler to ever wear that number is Jeff Skinner.
So take that for what you want.
Ike Howard, number 53. We're also live and brought to you by Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Tyler, Liam, the YouTube chat, Aaron, summer day, Oilers making a trade. This is fun. This is what we live for. This is the juice we needed to get through the week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a reason we didn't do an instant reaction video yesterday and go live. We needed it for today.
Yeah,
this is our instant reaction.
We weren't going to get the day off if we did something last night. That's just smart business from us. But we're going to get to all of your takes in the YouTube chat. We're also going to be joined by Steven Ellis, who's going to give us... Steven will give us the unbiased take on this trade. Mm-hmm. And I think that's also important because I can probably tell the YouTube chat's going to be fired up. I think you and I are generally going to be pretty positive about this trade because, and maybe let's get into our takes, it's very easy to see why the Oilers did this and why this not only makes them better now, but down the line as well. Isaac Howard, it'll take us a while to just get into the rhythm of calling him Ike. He did say, by the way, Aaron's out. Aaron's not calling him. But he said in his introductory press conference today that he would prefer to go by Ike, not Isaac.
Yeah, which interesting take. I'm not going to I am, but I'll call you Ike. I won't like it very much. Weird one. I don't know. I have a couple of friends called Isaac. Not once have they ever come up to me and said, "Hey, can you call me Ike from South Park?"
Thank you. Great work, Aaron. Yeah, that's the other thing too. But we heard Stan Bowman at the end of the season talk about how he wants to find a way to get younger. And we've talked a lot on this show about the balance that Stan Bowman's going to have with you want to win next year. And you want to win next year just as bad as you want to win the cup in 2030, 2032, right? When Connor is still going to be here and Leon is under contract and Bouchard is, likely still going to be under contract. But my point is you had this window. And I don't think you could continue to run back the Perrys and the Canes and guys of that ilk, the Arvidssons, and just say every year we're just going to keep trying to find veterans who can step into this lineup. Because I think what you saw last year was if you're going to chase it like that, there might be years where you land a Zach Hyman. There might be years where you land guys who are great fits. But there's probably going to be more years where you land a Arvidsson or a Skinner who are good but just aren't quite the fit you thought they'd be. One way to ensure that this window stays fully open is to go and get players in their early to mid-20s who you go, that guy's playing for us for the next 8 years, and he's going to be an impactful piece alongside Connor and Leon for the next 8 years. I like Sam O'Reilly, the prospect. I think it's very funny how many people who a week ago also loved Sam O'Reilly, the prospect, are now taking to X and various platforms going, his ceiling's a third-line center. No, a week ago, we absolutely loved the guy, and we're talking about if he could get a 9-game trial and potentially be an NHLer next year. My opinion on Sam O'Reilly does not change now that he's no longer an Oilers prospect. When I saw the price and saw that the Oilers had traded him away in this deal, I winced. My first instinct wasn't like, holy fleece, let's go. If it was the 2027 first-round pick, I would have been like, what a banging deal by Stan Bowman. Mm-hmm. But my first instinct here was, whoa, the Oilers paid a price here.
I think they just pushed their plan 2 years down the road.
They moved up the
they
timeline.
brought it
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Like, they just went and got a guy who was going to play for them today, and I think Sam O'Reilly will be a really solid player in his career. And it's disappointing, too, in the sense of, I think Sam O'Reilly had a lot of fans, including myself, very excited because we haven't really had a prospect in our system for a while outside of like a top 10 pick who's been like, holy smokes, this guy is lighting it up on the team that won the Memorial Cup.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't just do this on some crappy team. He did it on the best team. So I think from that side of things, I was disappointed to see O'Reilly go, but I just want to see the Oilers win a Stanley Cup. And I think Isaac Eichhoward is going to give them the best opportunity to do that today. I don't think he's going to be a 40-goal scorer like some people are. Like, some people are throwing some crazy things out there right now, and I understand the excitement of y'all. If he can come in and him and Savoy can fill the void of the goals that were scored by Skinner and Arvidsson in the regular season, awesome. Anything more for me is like, so they combined, for people that don't know, 30 goals combined.
Yeah, if you get 30 out of Howard and O'Reilly.
Savoy.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Savoy and
Howard.
Savoy and Howard. Too many prospects. I don't like this now. But yeah, if you can get 30 out of Savoy and Howard, you're happy. Yeah. I think the expectation, the bar can maybe be a little bit higher than that. But I think I will be listen, I want to be wrong on this. I'll be stunned if you get 40 out of them.
I would be too.
Neither's going to get power play time. That's a big thing. Even if they are stapled next to McDavid and Draisaitl, like, it's hard to produce that kind of offense, especially when you haven't played a season in the NHL, or in Howard's case, a full season. I do think we need to temper our expectations here. Yeah,
like Lance puts in the chat. Hot take, extremely hot. Howard wins the Oilers' first Calder Trophy.
No.
It's probably not going to work like that. I am very curious about the power play. I mentioned this a couple of times. We talked about it with Wallman. Like,
yeah.
I really do wonder what happens with Nugent Hopkins this year, and if they try and take him back a little bit to put him into maybe a different role as a third-line center. I think having a guy like Isaac Howard can help change that around a little bit. Yeah. I'm not saying that's something I expect to happen on day one of the season, but as the season progresses and we get close to the playoffs, like, how much of a fit is that? Do the Oilers go and get themselves another top six winger, as hopefully Isaac Howard has progressed into a reliable guy, and News can go on your third line, and all of a sudden you're there cruising with a really strong third line, and I think Howard allows that to happen, but I love the excitement he's brought. It sounds like from his interviews that he is very excited to be here. The Oilers were allowed to talk to him, which I think in a lot of these trades you'll find, if like you have a college guy who isn't going to be there. Like, Tampa Bay has no reason not to allow teams to talk to him within reason.
It's only going to help their return.
Totally. Yeah. So,
like, the Oilers aren't doing this trade if Howard's not pen to paper on an ELC the second it happens.
Yeah. Also, too, I think Savoy would be the one, if I to just give a name to it, that would take the first unit power play spot.
Yep.
And the reason I put that is, and I don't know enough about Howard yet, but what I do know about Savoy is that he has a high compete level, and that he will go win pucks back like a Nugent Hopkins.
Him and Howard are not the same player.
No, they're very different.
They're
both very quick. They got a lot of pace,
which I love. Yeah. Last year, and I saw, and I don't remember who said it, as one of the usuals on Oilers Twitter who give out great stuff. But it was like, last year there were points the Oilers were boring to watch. They were old and slow. They're not going to be old and slow next year. And again, is next year going to be a step back year for the Oilers? I have a really hard time saying that, because I still believe that the core of this team, when it's crunch time and it's go time in the playoffs, they're hard to knock out. It is very difficult. There's a reason why only one team the last 2 years has done it. It's very difficult to beat the Oilers 4 out of 7 games. Mm-hmm. This Oilers team, when the rubber hits the road in the playoffs, I fully believe in them. It's hard to even say this could be a step back in the regular season, because the last 2 regular seasons haven't been all that good.
No.
But this was a necessary move. And if you want to, again, I don't mean this to be all doom and gloomy, but like, Stan Bowman's job is to help this team win next year, but also keep an eye to the future. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is 32, turning 33. Hyman's 33, turning 34. Those guys aren't going to be your reliable top 6 wingers for 5-6 more seasons. Like, there's going to come a point where you need to have a contingency plan here. And, maybe they sat there. I think there's a possibility they believe in Trent Frederick as a long-term 3C a lot more than you and I do. But they may have sat there, and I understand this is contradicting what I said earlier, but they might have been like, okay, Sam O'Reilly's not going to be here for 2 years. He needs 1 more year in the O and probably 1 year in Bakersfield as well, if we're being totally honest. And when he finally gets here, Connor and Leon are signed, he's a 3C.
Yeah.
Like his ceiling might be higher than a 3C, but on the Oilers, his ceiling might be a 3C if you kind of get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
They might have sat there and said, well, hold up. This is probably exactly what they said. We can get a guy who will, by our calculations, be a top 6 winger for us for the next 10 years while Connor and Leon are still in their primes and playing here. It's very easy to see why this is a win for the Oilers. It's also, I think, somewhat easy to see why this is a win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But they end up getting not just a pick. Like, if it would have been the 2027 first and you're Tampa and you're Julian Breezeball, you're sitting here saying, whoa, I just gave up Isaac Howard for a pick I'm not going to use for 2 more drafts. And then by the time I pick that guy, it's going to be 3 years for him. Like, no, you get a guy in O'Reilly who's 2-3 years away. That's great. This is a great deal. This is a win-win. And if you're uneasy about giving up O'Reilly, someone said in the chat, you have to give to get. There's no reason to complain about this from an Oilers perspective. You just really need your scouts to be right about Isaac Howard.
And I think the Oilers scouting staff, since they're obviously only in their second season with the team, it looks like they've done a pretty decent job when finding guys who are going to come in one day and do something on the NHL roster. Like Sam O'Reilly, they traded up for him. Like they had him way higher in the draft, and now it looks like he's going to be that guy from that draft class. Is like, oh, how did this guy go so late? You know what I mean? That's exciting. Obviously, a couple other guys like Clattenburg, William Nickel looks like he might be a decent player. But the point is, they have a chance. So I think there's a reason to believe in what they see in a guy like Isaac Howard. So I think it's a fun trade. Yep. I think it's good to see that Stan Bowman's not just sitting on his hands and waiting to see what guys do over the offseason and how they come into camp. He's like, no, let's go out and let's make our team better today. And again, it's one that got the fan base excited, and we'll see what happens now. The one thing I like about it is it gives you a lot of cap flexibility too. Like, I really do wonder about, obviously, Max Jones. We've talked about a ton. Like, his future with the team seems to be like a 15th forward, never mind 13th, 14th. 15
might be generous at this point.
And then you look at other guys too, like Tomasek, they seem to be high on him.
Yep.
But he's still a wild card. Like, again, people won't like it, but like Matthias Janmark, what's his role on the team next year? He makes a lot of money for a guy that doesn't do a lot for the offense. So I'm curious to see the way things kind of move around here. I don't think the Oilers are quite done yet.
Yeah. Do you have the DFO lines, Aaron? Is that a possibility? Oh, okay, cool. Puckpedia.
That'll help.
McDavid, Nuge, Hyman, sure. Draisaitl, Podkolzin, Mangiapane, sure. Frederick, Henrique, Savoy, Howard's going to move up, but Janmark and Kapanen as well. I mean, you can put together a lineup where Howard's playing on one of the top two. I mean, you could probably put together a lineup, and Bob had some projected lines the other day too, and he had Howard playing right next to Connor McDavid, which I understand some people are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We have seen worse players play with Connor McDavid, folks. You can sit there and go, he's never played in the NHL, but I remember Dominic Cahoon playing there. Like, the idea that, and this is where I really hope management and coaching are on the same page. If you are making this trade and you're going, all right, and you're Bowman, you're saying both Matt Savoy and Isaac Howard are going to be on this roster next fall, then you need Chris Knobloch to be totally bought in on this decision. He can't be sitting there and playing Ike Howard 6 minutes a night and Matt Savoy 12 minutes and trying to turn Matt Savoy into a penalty-killing third-line checker. Like,
yeah,
if you're going this route, it needs total organizational buy-in.
Totally.
In the sense that if you think Matt Savoy is a good fit with Leon Draisaitl, 25 games. He gets until Jan 1, and he's stapled there. I mean, you stapled Vasily Podkolzin there, and he couldn't hit the wide side of a barn. Like, he can't score. You need to be totally in on Ike Howard. We think you're a fit with Connor McDavid. You get until Christmas. Show us what you have. Like, there needs to be a plan, and it needs to be followed. And you can't sit here and worry about, oh, well, we lost a game 4-1 to Philly in November, and Savoy had a turnover. Like, no. You need to be willing to let these guys grow a little bit. And I get the NHL's not a developmental league, but all I care about at this point with the Edmonton Oilers is them being their best and having things figured out by night 1 of the playoffs. The Pacific Division sucks. They're making the playoffs every single year for the next 5 years.
Maybe longer.
Probably longer. Like, absolutely longer. Probably 8 to 10 years. The Pacific Division is terrible.
One thing, obviously, to consider, too, with, like, the start that Savoy and Howard will get with the team is Zach Hyman's missing the start of the season. I think he said, I don't know when I'll be back over the weekend. He still has his cast on. It sounds like it's going to be a couple of weeks. So, Aaron, if you just flush him out one more time, like, yeah, you know Howard on this lineup, like, Mangiapane, I believe, can play both sides. Like Trent Frederick likes to play on the right wing. Like, obviously, Podkolzin is a left winger as well. Like, there's a lot that can go on here. Like, I think the opening night lineup is actually going to help what Howard and Savoy are able to do with the absence of a Zach Hyman temporarily.
And one more thing I just want to add, and then we'll get to our guests. Like, I don't even think, and what I was kind of going on there, I'm not even saying that you need to just staple Howard and Savoy to Draisaitl and McDavid necessarily. I'm just saying have a plan. Like, do I think there's a world where a third line that has Matt Savoy and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on it works? Yes. And do I think that could be the best for Matt Savoy? Yes. Isaac Howard and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, I think that could work on the third line. I'm just saying I don't want to see these guys playing 8 minutes, and I don't want to see these guys playing with Matthias Janmark. Play him with skill, give him minutes, give him opportunity, and stick to a plan. If that happens, the Oilers are going to develop these guys, and it's all going to work out.
I think Gord made a good point, and I was thinking this too. I'm sorry, I'm looking through a camera. Like, you got to hope that Bowman and Knobloch have a better rapport. Sorry, leg was in the way. Line of communication and Jackson and Knob, and I really do think so. The Oilers got screwed by not giving themselves a general manager this time last year.
Yep.
But this year, the oldest player that it's a clear message. Sorry, that the Oilers wanted to get younger. The oldest player that they signed was Curtis Lazar, who's 30 years old, and at best is going to be a fourth line player for them.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get out to our guest line for the day. The Star Mechanical guest line is Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more about what makes them Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company by visiting them online at starmechanical.ca. As we welcome in the #1 prospect analyst in the business, according to Oilersnation Everyday. That is our boy, Steven Ellis. What's up, Steven Ellis? How's the weather out in Ontario treating you?
Well, see, it was funny. When I went to LA, I kind of made a joke that you go to LA for some reason to cool off. But since coming back here, it's been just kind of a steady, like 30 degrees, boring, no sun, just.
That's not bad, Steven.
Not at all. Not
30
at all.
and
It's just nothing. It's just nothing.
Yeah, fair. The Oilers acquire Isaac Howard. We're excited about him. Oilers fans are excited. It's a guy who everyone is kind of saying, like, you don't make this trade unless you firmly believe Isaac Howard can jump into your top 6, top 9 next year and make an impact. You are an unbiased prospect analyst, so you tell me, can Isaac Howard jump into the top 6, top 9?
I think so. And I think that's what you kind of really want to throw him in there and do. Like, I don't know who you necessarily take out. I don't know if that's a Podkolzin, and I don't know if you take that opportunity away from Savoy. But I think with him, he needs to have a very smart, effective playmaking center, someone who knows how to get the puck to him, because when it comes to Isaac Howard, he's not going to be an all-around threat. That's what Sam O'Reilly is going to be, probably, with the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's going to be an all-around player. But I don't see Sam O'Reilly putting up 30 goals a season like we could see at some point out of Isaac Howard. So I think if you're not going to give him an opportunity to play a lot of minutes with quality centermen, I don't know what the point of keeping him in the NHL next year. And if he goes to the AHL, that's fine. Like that's not considered a failure at this point. He just had nothing left to prove in college. He was ready to turn pro. If he's not in the NHL, that's fine.
What kind of player is he? Like, give me the archetype. What does he do well? What are the pluses? What are the minuses in his game?
Well, kind of ever since we saw him play at the NTDP, this is a guy that just loves having the puck on his stick. He does so much offensively. He's always shooting. He's great in the power play. And he is a guy that's kind of built for like a scoring roll or bust situation. I don't know who I would give as a good comparable, but I'd say with him, it's like he's a really good skater. A very good shot. You put that together, there's a lot to love there. Really good at just bringing the puck out of the defensive zone and making things happen there. Defensively, that's where he falls apart, and that's where he's never really been very good. Physically, he's really kind of shies away from big bodies. But you don't need everyone to be this 6'2" power forward style guy. Like, you need guys who could put pucks in the net. So that's where he comes into play here.
Do you think he's a guy that's, I guess, been overshadowed throughout his career until this last season, obviously winning the Holtby Baker, but like on those U.S. development teams where everyone goes ahead of him in a draft, he goes 31st, whatever it was. It just seems like he's never been the guy until this past season, and then he lights up college hockey and wins a Holtby Baker. Yeah,
like when he was at UMD, the Minnesota Duluth, like he basically did a whole lot of nothing. For a guy that loves to shoot the puck, he didn't get those opportunities. He wasn't playing with a ton of skilled guys, and it was not a good fit. But he got to go and reunite with Adam Nightingale, the guy who his coach was at the NTDP. So We knew obviously he believed in him there, but he also got to be just like the primary shooter. And you see these clips. He scores a lot of goals from the same area where he's always kind of on that right side. He's a left shot, but he could just fire it. And I watched him play up close a couple times in the last couple of years, and every time it's just like his one-timer is as good as you would find in that college level. And I think that's, you put him on the power play, he's going to put up a ton of points. And that's what he was able to show this past year at Michigan. Like he was good 2 years ago, but he was great this season. And he was not in a situation where they just gave him more opportunities in high danger areas. He was playing with good line mates pretty much all the time, whether it be Charlie Stramel or one of the older guys on the team. And I think you just leave him open at your peril, basically, because he's going to make you pay.
You got another one?
I was going to ask about Sam O'Reilly.
Yeah,
and I guess two-part question. One, how close do you think he even was to being an NHL player at this point? And the second one being, do you think the Oilers will come to regret trading him away for an Isaac Howard? Or do you think this is just a trade that they needed to do right now for a guy like Howard's ability?
Yeah, I think 100% this was a trade worth doing for both teams in a lot of cases. Obviously, he wasn't going back to Tampa Bay. They're looking for a bit more center depth. They get a guy who could play center, who could play the wing, and could kind of do everything as a two-way threat there. And he loves having the puck on his stick. You then look at Isaac Howard, who's more of a goal scorer, but not as well-rounded. Like with O'Reilly, he's really good defensively. Like, it's like, okay, I made this comparison sort of on DFO Live this morning. You look at someone like Connor Bedard, and he's got all this skill in the world. He loves to put the puck on net, do things like that. You compare him against Celebrini, who might not put up as many points, but could end up becoming a better player because he's more of an all-around threat, and you can use him in these different situations. Obviously, these two guys are nowhere near that. But with O'Reilly, like, he's still a few years away. I think you want to see him take another step forward in a leading role with the London Knights, knowing that Easton Cowan is turning pro this year, and he'll have an opportunity to do that and be a big piece, a big part of that team that's trying to chase a third straight OHL championship. But with Howard, he's older. He just came off of the Hobey Baker season. Dominating college in your third year is not the definition of success by any means. Like, there's a lot of guys who dominate college in the last 2 years of their junior career and don't turn out to be anything. But I think with him, it's like he's ready to go right now. Sam O'Reilly's not. And if you're looking to be in win now mode, you're like the Oilers are, and you need some extra goal scoring, Isaac Howard made a lot of sense.
What do you make of the way the Oilers are trying to, in some way, build up a prospect pool here? Like, we saw them obviously take the shot and sign Quinn Hudson out of the NCAA yesterday. And, like, listen, it's hard to build up a prospect pool when every trade deadline, it's just like, we are trading our first round pick to try win a Stanley Cup. But I look here and I'm like, there are names that I recognize at least. You got Hudson, you have Boaki. I think about over in Russia with Maxim Berezhkin or however you say it. Like, I know it's in the bottom third or even bottom five of the NHL, but is it maybe starting to show signs of life?
Like, before this trade, I'd say if you had to pick, like, in the top 100 prospects in hockey, realistically, they had one, and it's Matthew Savoy. And then you look after that, like Hudson, I've said before, like, he's a good energy guy, but I don't think he's a full-time NHL player anytime soon. He kind of really rose to, like, prominence pretty late, so I'm not 100% convinced there. But yeah, like, you couldn't have done much worse than what they had, right? And you're still trying to go out there and get a ton of depth and things like that. So, look, you got your best prospect a year ago in the Ryan McLeod trade. You're getting another guy who's arguably maybe ready to play even a higher role already here in Howard here. So also, I know some people were kind of making fun of him because he's like, right off his bat today, he's like, I go by Ike. That is what he's been asking people to call him since since the program. So that's not an arrogance thing. That's just what he goes by.
Okay, I'm glad we got that sorted out too.
I wanted to ask you about the Hobey Baker, the award itself. Like, it seems like the past, I would say, you look back, like the last three winners are Fantilli, Celebrini, and Howard, and you look at the finalists for those awards as well, and they're all unbelievable players, or soon to be unbelievable players. Like last year, Howard beat out Ryan Leonard and, how do you say his name? Zeev Buiumi from Buyum, the Minnesota player now. It seems like this award has got a lot better the last few years rather than random players. Like, I know Dryden McKay was a great college goalie, but he's never touched the NHL. And, I don't even know who the guy is above Cale Makar. No offense to him, but it seems like this award is way better now than it was even 4 years ago, right?
Utah Hockey Club defenseman Scott Perunovich? Liam.
He plays in the NHL?
Yeah, he was with the Blues last year.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, Scott.
So when you look at this, it's like, a lot of kind of more obscure names. Like you could go back and you see it was Johnny Gaudreau did in 2014. It was Eichel the year after that, and then Jimmy Vesey and Will Butcher and Adam Gaudette. It's like, all right, that's not exactly the same level player. For the longest time, the guys who would dominate college were the players who were older, but we're seeing younger guys come in and make a bigger impact right away. Like, don't be surprised if Gavin McKenna wins this award next year. And Celebrini did it as a rookie, as a 17-year-old, and was like that well-deserved there. You're seeing these guys becoming more prepared, but also some players come into college a year early. Like Celebrini had a fast track to be able to do it. McKenna didn't have to because he's an older prospect in this draft class. But I think when you see these guys that are third, fourth year players win it, it's like a lot of those times it's like they won it because they're more experienced than everybody else and not because they're going to be the star player. So you see that in the CHL a lot too, where like the best player in the CHL is a guy that doesn't even get drafted or sign an NHL contract. Yeah. So when you look at Howard here, it feels like he was a bit of a late bloomer, but he was a dominant goal scorer in junior hockey. He became a dominant player in college hockey. I have a lot more faith in him becoming successful than Dryden McKay or Adam Gaudette or Will Butcher when those guys were coming through.
All right. Gavin McKenna going to Penn State. That was the big news in the prospect world yesterday. And obviously, the decision was leaked beforehand. Everyone kind of knew Penn State was going to be the landing spot. But how do you think he's going to adjust to the college game?
He's going to dominate. And look, I tried to convince him to come play for my ball hockey team. No luck. Maybe next year instead of signing his ELC. Who knows? But he's special, and it feels like we're saying that a lot. But when you look at what Connor Bedard did, and McKenna's been able to go kind of toe to toe offensively there, and he also put up these great numbers without having that true number one center in Caden Lidstrom. I'd say Oasis Wiesblatt was really good. But he's good because he's like a 21-year-old OHL or WHL, not because he's this super skilled, smart guy that can elevate McKenna. So for McKenna to put those numbers up is incredible. Like 88 assists, huge. I think a lot of people look at his World Junior performance and say, well, he did nothing. Well, doesn't matter. No one did anything on that team. Sidney Crosby wouldn't have scored with that group. Connor McDavid wouldn't have scored. But with McKenna, I think he's going to have no problem adjusting to college. But also, like, Penn State's going to be good next year, and they were already strong this season. They've got a lot of good new recruits. I believe Aiden Fink is coming back, and he's been really good in college. So, like, all of a sudden, Penn State goes from this team that is like, oh, yeah, like they're playing college hockey to, oh, my God, you want to watch every single one of these games. And McKenna is going to be a star.
I find it very interesting. There's a lot of people who watch college way more than I do, but they are very upset that he has chose to go to Penn State over than going to like a Denver or one of those schools in one of the tougher divisions. Like, I think people are forgetting that Penn State was really, really good last season. They also have a former Sherwood Crusader, so I'm sure that had a big part of him going there.
Yeah, it's like when that's what I'd be deciding about which Crusader was on my team. But I think with like Penn State, they're putting so much effort into trying to grow this program, and I'm disappointed he does not go to Michigan so I could drive down and see him. I'm not going to be able to go down to Penn State easily, but I think with him, like regardless, you're still looking at a guy who that adds a lot of legitimacy to that program because they've had no true like NHL talents come up through the system. So now they've got a few already potentially there. And then you put in Gavin McKenna, like that's huge for that recruiting class. And him going there also just raises the NIL costs for everyone else. Like it's gonna be like, okay, well, if Michael Miso wanted to go to college, like he's gonna cost a lot too because of what he just did in the OHL. And I think the money he's making is good for a lot of other high-end talents coming through. And like, what's Landon Dupont going to do? Is he going to be worth more because he's this high-scoring defenseman? Like, what about Maddox Schultz in a few years? Are we just going to be doing this every year? Maybe, probably at this point. And so all these guys, I feel bad for the WHL because they're the ones who are clearly getting impacted the most here.
And it's funny too because the Western League wasn't producing this elite level of player for they were producing great players. Don't get me wrong, but not the guys who could go first overall in the draft every year.
Like 5 of 7 drafts or whatever. Yeah.
Now they've got all these guys who are coming through. Where do you think Porter Martone goes? I think he's like the big name. Like Michigan State seems to be an option now that Howard's not around.
Yeah, like the University of Michigan in particular was one that was really targeting him. I know him and Michael Haig are really good friends, so that would be a good fit. I think you can't go wrong playing for any of the Michigan programs. Like Western Michigan just won, and then Michigan State's great, and all these, like, there's a lot of really high quality programs in that area. And again, close enough for me to drive down. So if you guys want to make it easy for me, given Porter Martone plays in Brampton, which is very close to where I live. But yeah, like he's like, for Martone, he was one of those guys where I'm like, I could see him play in the NHL next year. And for the Flyers, like, he's got a legitimate chance. Should he? I don't think so. Like, I want to see him work on his skating, but he could go and do that in college. So college makes sense for him. And they maybe, again, University of Michigan, I know he's good friends with Jack Havakovic, who's their goalie. Like, there's some connections there.
Do you ever think, we were watching some highlights beforehand, Aaron, if you want to run them, if you would have committed to playing goalie earlier, we wouldn't be having the crisis we are in this country? Some of these saves are nasty, Steven.
Well, it's like, let's see, this one's fun because I couldn't walk. Like on Sunday, I got into a go-kart accident where I got hit from the front and from the behind at the exact same time. So I had such a bad back, and basically I did not think I was going to play. But I'm like, I know that it's funny. I make the joke about, the scouts showing up to the games. I actually do have 2 scouts that play on my ball hockey team. So I'm hoping that, like, if enough viewing here, I'll be the Olympic goalie in 2026 and go from there. I could play for Canada. Maybe if Great Britain or Greece become good, I could start playing for those guys. But I feel confident I should be the Canadian starting goalie for at least the next 2 decades.
Yeah, I was going to say, for the podcast listeners, we're currently watching Steven Ellis ball hockey highlights on the show. It's July 9th. This rink is beautiful.
It's dusty though. It's like, I don't know how it looks very unclean. I was sliding around like just because of how dusty it was, but I allowed a goal which killed my shutout because I was looking at a bird that had flown. This is not in this clip that we're showing here, but a bird flew like right around my crease, and I was looking at it, and then they shot a weak shot from center, and I completely missed it.
All right, okay, I take it back. I don't think you could have solved the Olympic crisis. Steven, we appreciate your prospect analysis. Thanks for the words on Howard, and we'll maybe chat with you later in the summer.
But hey, did you see I wore my Team Canada goalie helmet with my Team Finland jersey? I confused some people out there.
Yeah, you know what? Never let them know your next move. All right, see you, Steven.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. Steven Ellis, injured in a go-kart accident, still played ball hockey, and then did 1,000 words on like the Islanders prospect pool for Daily Faceoff. He's doing his full prospect pool breakdowns this summer at dailyfaceoff.com, so go check those out. Steven Ellis on the Star Mechanical guest line. Quickly, he's also brought to you by Litco Law. When employers cross the line, Litco Law is here to referee. If you've been fired without cause, pushed out of your job, or treated unfairly at work, a good employment lawyer can help. Call for backup so you can defend your rights and make sure you get what you're owed. Go to litcolaw.com. Book your free consult today. You can find out if you have a claim in minutes, or take as much time as you need to get answers and understand your options, because you work hard and you deserve what's fair. Level the playing field. LitcoLaw.com. You know who might be hitting up a lawyer? Who? That guy who got in a fight with Nick Tarnasky at the golf course.
That was a tough one.
So, do we have the video? I don't know if you guys saw this. Okay, let's just watch the whole thing through once with audio, then we'll watch it again without audio.
Cry about it. Fucking cry about it. I'm going to. Fucking cry about it. Fucking cry, you fucking pussy. I'm a pussy. Like, fucking cry about it.
Hey, Trev, buddy, you're going to get fucking shit today.
I don't give a fuck.
Like, badly.
Good. Let's fucking go, man.
Buddy,
oh.
you don't want to go me.
No, I'm not filming this. I'm not stopping. No, you guys need to get off the golf course.
Yeah, we will, man.
No, now. Like, pack up, go now. Get in the car and go.
I don't know what you're doing. You're not scaring anybody. You're just making yourself.
Hey, man. Come on, man.
Hey.
Off to a good start, buddy.
I fucking told you. Man, leave him alone.
You want another?
He
You
just
want one
fucking
too?
came at me. Leave him alone, man.
I got it all on record.
It's around the goal.
I got it all on record.
Around the goal. Hey, you want to fucking go, guys? Leave him alone. Hey, leave him alone, man.
I wouldn't keep going back, you fucking moron.
Hey. Come on, man.
No, I'm not trying to get in there. Like, just like, fuck me.
Enough!
Are you still cheering on me?
Enough! Get out!
Hey.
Enough!
Things going well for
Hey,
him.
leave him.
Get him the fuck out of here. No, it's not going to go well.
Oh, man.
I got it all on record. First off, I got it all on record. That's how you know they're just like good small town Canadian guys. Like
he's from Rocky Mountain House.
Hey, there we go.
There you go.
Should have been over once you're thrown in the lake.
Once you're thrown in the lake, you're done. Also,
Back it up.
Like Nick Tarnowski, big dude.
Huge.
A guy who's starting the fight, not big dude. For him to be tough enough, also, Tarnowski's group was just upset that they were playing too slow.
That's why. Okay, I didn't really know the concept.
So apparently that was the problem, is that the group in front was playing too slow. You know, maybe just let them play through.
Yeah, or, you know, like you said, if you get thrown in the lake, stay.
Yeah, if the man is strong enough to just basically in a second throw you in a lake, give up.
Dry yourself off.
Yeah,
go
and
back
be like,
to the T-box.
and you guys play ahead. And then a bunch of people pointed this out in the chat, but like, if the first time around, which we're watching here, if the guy's yelling bang while he punches you, that means he's in he's not even thinking about what he's doing. Like it's so easy for him that he's just like bang, bang, bang. To go back for more once, and then this is my favorite part here, is when he's woozy, and then he gets yeeted. Like, he threw him.
I mean, credit to the purple shirt guy.
He doesn't give up.
Down but not out. Never give up. Never give up on your dreams, folks.
I guess.
He just kept going. And also,
You can tell he's a hockey fighter because he just grabs with the one arm. He's got full leverage on the ground. Imagine that guy on ice.
I just couldn't imagine, one, getting punched in the face at golf. Yeah. But two, like you said, just getting punched in the face while someone repeatedly yelled bang. The punch is just connected with my nose. God, tough luck.
Tough luck.
Tough luck. And I don't even think Nick, what's his name? Nick Tarnowski?
Tarnowski?
He did nothing wrong. The guy attacked him.
He told the guy, like,
don't do it.
Like, don't do this.
And he threw him in the lake before he threw a punch. So
can you do a screen share and just Google Nick Tarnowski's name? Because, like, one look at his, and I do not mean this in any disrespect to Mr. Tarnowski. Also, apparently this was at the Red Deer Golf Course. You take one look at this. If you see this man and he's like, hey, you're playing too slow, let him play through. You let that guy play through.
Yeah.
Never mind the face. He's 6'2", 230 was his last listed playing weight. And in one KHL season, he put up 173 PIMs in 36 games. Like,
former Panther.
I don't care. Like, you obviously don't know he's a former NHLer, but you look at you see a guy who looks like that, and you're like 5'9" with a little weird beard. You let him.
You're good. Chell put something in the chat that made me laugh. He didn't hear no bell. A lot of South Park references today.
He didn't hear no bell. He didn't hear no bell, but he heard the bangs.
He heard the bells the moments after.
Yeah. He's so when he gets up the second time, he's so woozy. He's like, ooh.
Like, I know, like, one of his friends was clearly trying to help. Maybe grab your buddy. Like, don't go after the guy. Like, grab your friend. Be like, buddy, like, we're good now.
They look buckled.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. But
Mainlander Tim, wonder if he's available for a mosaic team.
Nick or the purple guy?
I don't know if I want to play with the purple guy. Darnell Nurse. This was a big part of our Monday show.
How's he connected to this?
Well, we're just moving along on our like weird little what's trending news segment. Darnell Nurse put out an Instagram. Can you show the post? This is what Darnell Nurse put out on Monday night. This is obviously in reference to the rumors about him being asked to waive his no movement clause. And a lot of you who have not been chronically online for the last decade plus might go, I don't get it. Liam and I are here to educate you. This is a screenshot from an old viral music video that sounds like this.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop fucking lying. Always lying to me.
All right, we can't get copyrighted. We can't get copyrighted.
I've never made it this far in the video.
It's a whole music video. That is can you go back to that?
So athletic. Wow.
That's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, damn.
What?
I'm gonna
that defies physics.
That is, wow. Good for him. Good for you, Daryl.
Crazy.
That's what he was insinuating.
That's actually what he should have posted. So anyways, Darnell Nurse says he didn't get asked to waive his no movement clause or whatever. Or maybe he didn't say, I don't know. Darnell is saying someone's lying, so we believe Darnell.
Always lying, too.
Yeah.
So someone asked us on Twitter the other day, and I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was a fair comment to make. Did you see? I can't remember the gentleman's name. I think it was Neil. Put up a screenshot of Nurse's numbers over his career and put a screenshot of Jake Wallman.
I saw this.
And he's like, why is this guy known as consistent and the other one not known as consistent?
Jake Wallman's not known as consistent. Also, late bloomer.
I would say he was consistent way more consistent last season.
Oh, yeah.
And I think when you look at the underlying numbers too, and like I understand how everyone goes about this and it's fine, but like while Nurse and Wallman's numbers maybe looked similar offensively, you'll see that Nurse was on the ice for more goals against. Yep. Wallman was regularly a plus player, very rarely a negative player in the playoffs. And I know we kind of take that for what it is, plus minus, but I think in the playoffs it does paint a pretty decent picture. So yeah, that's what I would say is I just think Wallman doesn't make as many errors as what Darnell Nurse would make. And the numbers, it was crazy the way they fell off in the playoffs for Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
If he can come back and have a strong regular season, even get back to average in the playoffs, and we're not that worried about it. But I think that tells us Darnell Nurse is also not getting traded this summer, if we didn't already know that anyway.
Well, I mean, Sherwood Ford Giant question time. Shout out to our friends at Sherwood Ford, the Giant. Nation Valet Service. Never visit the dealership again for your routine car maintenance. Bob put out a tweet with his projected lines for next year. So he had Isaac Howard with McDavid and Hyman. He had Podkolzon, not Podkolzin, Podkolzon.
Who's that?
With Draisaitl and Mangiapane. I'm just having fun. Frederick with RNH and Savoy, which we talked about. Maybe you play Savoy with RNH. Like, it can work. It can work. Fourth line, he had Janmark with Henrique and Kapanen. Fifth line, Lazar and Tomasek. This is interesting. I do think Savoy deserves a shot with Draisaitl at some point. If he doesn't start there, I think it's fine. But my problem is exactly what Jason James just said in the YouTube chat. Where's Noah Philp? You don't need Matthias Janmark.
I'm so over it.
I'm over him too, and the season hasn't even started. But like, that contract was bad the day they signed it. It's unnecessary now. You could have used the 1.5 to accrue and do something more significant. I would be way more intrigued with a lineup that is, sure, I'm good on Howard, McDavid, Hyman. And then you know what I honestly kind of want to see is like Henrique you can even go, I don't even mind Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Mangiapane. Henrique with Nugent, Savoy. Play Henrique as a winger. And then put Philp on the fourth line, and Philp can play with Frederick and Kapanen. That's actually fine to me. Philp, Frederick, and Kapanen might actually be a pretty decent line. There's just, Janmark doesn't do enough. And I get you need penalty killers, but like Henrique can kill, Kapanen I think can kill, Philp can kill, Savoy
kills, Frederick kills, Mangiapane can kill.
Podkolzin can kill.
Hyman, McDavid both kill.
Yeah, I don't want them killing.
The only guy to the point who doesn't kill is Howard.
Yeah, more or less.
But it's Draisaitl too.
Yeah.
My apologies.
So yeah, I see a path to, and they won't do it because I think Knobloch likes him too much. But like, I don't know.
I just don't understand how people can be okay with the Oilers paying Matthias Janmark $1.5 million to score 2 goals.
Playoff Janmark.
I couldn't give 2 shits about Matthias Janmark.
Yeah.
Jona Gadjevic scored 4 goals for the Florida Panthers last year. How many games do you think he played?
Probably like 50.
41.
Yeah. Okay.
AJ Greer scored 6. They pay those guys league minimum. I guarantee you Curtis Lazar scores more goals than Matthias Janmark this season.
No, because Lazar might only play like 4 games.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I promise you he will. And that's the problem. It's just like, it's not the player. The player can be reliable defensively. Like people love to point out, he's a good penalty killer. He shows up in moments in the playoffs. I 100% agree. The problem is you paying double than what you should pay a fourth line player. Right?
I'm with you, man.
Like, it's so ridiculous. I just don't get it. Like, he's fine. He's a decent player. If he was a fourth line player, even if you paid him $1 million, I'd be more than happy.
It's just the margins, man, and it matters, right?
Really
Everything adds up.
You can get 2 players for him.
Yep. Okay. Your Sherwood Ford Giant question, though. Bob put out that tweet, and then at the bottom, he puts with a little winky face. Bob
I know, I saw.
getting in his bag, subject to change.
So here's the other thing I don't like about this lineup. Why did you go out and get 2 right shot centermen in Lazar and Philp, and then you don't have any of them in your lineup?
I agree with you on that.
Like, that was clearly a problem last year, and I like Henrique, and I know someone put in the chat earlier about like him not waving, but like Lazar Philp should be playing fourth line center.
Yep. Okay. we need to get the Short Report Giant question because we got to wrap. Bob says subject to change. What do you think is another move the Oilers can make this summer? I think they're done. I think there's no more coming. I don't think there's a goalie trade coming unless they convince Marc-Andre Fleury to come out of retirement. That's been a report. Colby Cohen added some fuel to the fire on DFO Live today about that. But like, I don't think a goalie trade is coming. I don't think Darnell Nurse is getting traded because he says everyone's lying. This is their lineup, is my point. Do you agree or disagree? Giant question.
I think they'll get a backup goalie of someone. I think it might be Fleury. I just think that's the only logical explanation.
Yep.
The goalie coaching is very interesting right now. Makes you think a little bit more about, like, they're clearly showing some faith in Skinner and just going to go down a different avenue in it. But I do think they want a different backup goalie.
Me too.
I think it's Fleury if they can get him out of retirement. Maybe I'll call Dubnyk. They are
Doobie,
neighbors.
go 5 doors down.
Yeah.
Tell him how great
All three.
Edmonton is. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, a UFA goalie in August to D White's point. That's all I can see.
Also, too, there's a lot of players that are still free agents. I know Jeff Skinner's not coming, but like a Jeff Skinner caliber player is still available out there. Like the PTO market is going to be very intriguing.
But now with Howard, I don't think you need it. I think you have enough. With Tomasek and Philp and all those guys, I just don't see a need for it.
You could just, again, like, what if you tell Matthias Janmark to kick rocks because you got another guy on the fourth line who can pay $1 million?
Yeah, maybe.
You know,
who has some offensive upside.
That's what
Sure.
I mean. I don't even need offensive upside. I need more than 2 goals.
For our friends at Bet365, download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Blue Jays have won 10 baseball games in a row, Liam. It's unbelievable. And this is a team that's done it all. Do you have the 2 quotes? It's all on the power of friendship. Vladdy had a quote the other day, and he said this was via Keegan Matheson and the Blue Jays interpreter. Once I wake up, I just can't wait to get to the field to be with my teammates. It's been unbelievable. It's what any manager wants, a team like that and a culture like that. The 180 they've done from this time last year,
unbelievable. From
spring training this year is remarkable. Chris Bassett only had to throw 70-some pitches yesterday because the Jays won their game in 6 innings.
Wow.
It started raining in the 6th.
Oh, and you end it?
Yeah, once a game's through the 5th inning, it can be considered an official game. So the Jays won in 6 innings. So Bassett, it was supposed to be his last start before the All-Star break.
How many All-Stars do the Jays have?
Kirk and Vladdy.
Oh, nice.
But Chris Bassett said, my only goal is to win a World Series. A lot of guys are down. I can be up. He said he's now willing to pitch again before the All-Star break out of the bullpen if they need him to.
Whoa.
And that's like
a huge statement, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, guys don't do that.
No.
Wow, the power of friendship is truly strong here.
It is.
Wow.
That's how I feel coming to work with you guys.
Fair. Jays right now looking to win their 11th in a row. They're in action live right now against the White Sox. 0-0 top of the second, but they got runners on the corners.
Nice.
It's Eric Lauer hour. He's on the bump for Toronto. The other thing I wanted to plug baseball-wise, shout out to friend of the show, Eric Sabrowski.
He's back.
He's back. So he gave up his first career run against the Cubs in his second appearance of the year.
Holy moly.
He's now struck out 8 batters in 4 2/3 inning. He struck out 2 yesterday in the Guardians' win over Houston. He's unbelievable. He's once again rattled off 3 straight outings out of the bullpen where he's, gotten them out of jams. Like the Detroit one doesn't look great on the stat line because it's 2 walks. He got squeezed hard, and then he struck out Riley Green, one of the better hitters in the AL. Cool. And then against Houston, he comes in with runners on, 2 strikeouts, gets him out of a jam. He gave up a double, but Cade Smith cleaned it up for him. He's good, man. His ERA is under 2, so shout out to our guy, Eric Sabrowski, Edmonton's finest. Jays just took the lead. Look at that.
Got it. Addison Barger.
Oh, Tyler Heineman. That's another thing, too. Like,
wasn't he just traded in the NHL? Emil Heineman?
Emil Heineman, yeah. Their backup catcher is batting like something insane. He's batting .338.
He's a backup?
Yeah, Kirk's their
nice. You know Blue Jays fever is getting out of control. I was just talking to Ty. I might be going to Toronto in August to catch 3-game series.
Yeah, I'm
going to start learning to play his names.
We should do, maybe we should.
I should probably do that too. Before.
Maybe we should do that when next week is every day I'll teach you about a Blue Jay. And we'll like build up that knowledge.
And I'll teach you about a bird.
Sure. Are all birds monogamous?
I believe so, yes. And they're all cameras laid out by the government.
No show Friday because Liam and I are going on my bachelor party.
Woo!
4 days together, buddy.
I knew we were obviously.
Yep.
But like, I couldn't remember where we were going until yesterday. Like I had to scroll back in the group chat. I'm like, oh, that's where we're playing. I had no idea. I knew we were going to the mountains. Or
Playing
whatever.
Grey Wolf?
Grey Wolf.
Have you ever played Grey Wolf?
I played in the mountains once, and I've played Silvertip.
Okay.
It's amazing. Grey Wolf.
Grey Wolves.
Brewsters.
Yeah, the cheap one on the way out.
Is that what it's
And then
called?
we're
And
playing
then-
both Copper Points. Copper Points.
We have
sick.
4.
Yeah, we're playing twice on Friday.
Gotcha. Cool. So here's my question. How are we playing? Like straight up? Are we doing scrambles, match?
I'm not in the group chat.
Oh, well, no one said anything. That's why I was asking.
The second round on Saturday, on Friday, we're doing a 4v4 scramble.
Cool. So, okay, that's nice. Is that a bird webcam?
Oh,
Okay, nice.
we have to go do O&R
Liam, what
too.
kind of birds are these?
Finches.
I'll take your word for it.
Could be anything.
A couple different kinds of birds in there.
I had one Bet365 future I was going to throw out there if you don't mind really quickly.
Okay.
So obviously the NFL is coming up quick. I believe the first preseason game is this month.
Yeah.
And it's Detroit
Fan
versus
game.
San Diego. Not San Diego, the LA Chargers. So there's a bet out there right now, and it's running backs to get 10 or more touchdowns in the season. Chuba Hubbard, who had 10 last season, these are rushing touchdowns, is plus 225. Same with Ashton Genty.
First round pick in the draft.
So that's where I'm kind of looking at spending my money. There wasn't like those were kind of the only two guys I really loved. The receiver ones weren't very good either.
Carolina drafted that other guy last year, Jonathan Brooks.
but he didn't play.
True, he's injury.
Yeah. So and Chuba was injured last season too. He missed a few games. So that's a good one. I like that for the local product.
All right, YouTube chat for Odd Company Brewing and the Nation Beer Everyday Lager, a crisp, clean lager crafted not just for game day, but for every day. Find them one of their 2 locations in Edmonton. Liam, we need these. We'll take these on the bachelor trip.
Okay.
We'll stay nice and hydrated. Thank you to Odd Company. We're going to need new ones for the set because I'm stealing these. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. No show Friday. New episode of Oilers Nation Radio dropping tomorrow, though. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you back on Monday. Oil up.